Amazing game coming up here. It's it's basically a cross between Bionic Commando and the next game we have, Super Metroid. It's Super Pitfall. So if you haven't seen it before, definitely want to check it out 'cause it's gonna be pretty amazing. And I think we're gonna get started here in just a moment. All right. Getting the countdown now. Let's go ahead and do some Super Pitfall. Alright, so I might have started a tiny bit late there, but I think what we'll do now is we'll go ahead and have our amazing Super Pitfall race here. This has been in the making for many, many years. Super Pitfall myself, both long-time Super Pitfall runners, and we have the top 2 times in this game, but it's a very difficult game. There's a lot of RNG involved, there's a lot of death warps and stuff like that. So it might seem like I just fell off a waterfall and died, but it's actually done on purpose because when you die, you actually respawn down here. And there's no other way to get down here without the death. So it actually saves you a ton of time, and you'll see lots of things like that throughout the run, where you're taking deaths or you're clipping into walls or clipping into ceilings, lots of glitches and things like that, that make the run much, much faster than it would be if you were just playing the game normally. Next we have the big trick in the game, which is the wall clip. You want to get into this wall as quickly as possible, but it's pretty much all RNG. You need to get 3 pixels into the wall, and there is a setup to get the first pixel for free, which we got, but now I need 2 more. So we pretty much, there's 1, just hold right, and then eventually you'll push through the wall. I think the reasoning behind it is if you look at the bottom of the screen, there's a happy snake and a spider down there, and the enemies on the screen, that's the only place you can clip through walls when there's like enemies or moving items. Alright, so we got in the wall at 115, which is actually pretty good. It's probably about an average clip. Unfortunately for the speed run, if you're doing record attempts, you need pretty much an instant clip, but 115 is pretty much what I would expect in a, just regular run. So now we got the elevator section, and what you actually want to do is despawn the elevator and just fall all the way down. You're going to take another death here, but it's all part of the run. It's all part of the plan. Alright, I'm looking at SuperPitFro, and it looks like he still hasn't gotten in the wall yet, so it looks like he's getting some bad RNG on the wall, but, anything can happen in a Super Pitfall race, so it's far from over. There's a lot of very difficult sections coming up, so hopefully I can make it through, but we'll have to see what kind of clip SuperPitFro gets, and we'll just kind of keep on moving. Alright, so we want to be a little bit careful here, because this fireball section is pretty dangerous. It's not a huge deal if you die, but definitely would prefer not to die, because there's actually another death abuse that I'll be doing here in a moment. And it's kind of important to take deaths throughout the run. You're going to see at the very end of the run that I actually am going to game over to beat the game. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as we go through, but taking this death here is actually better than taking other spots, because when you die here, you can actually respawn a little bit forward, and throughout the run you're going to take deaths, so you want to take the most optimal deaths you can, and that'll kind of help you get through. So, took a death there. You'll see that key that I just picked up. That's kind of the way this game works. The point of the game is essentially to collect 5 different items. Now we got this amazing, relaxing balloon song, so we'll just float our way up here. This is Dog's favorite song, by the way. It's beautiful. This is actually something that was found a while back, but in the past, people didn't know you could do this. You can actually take this balloon all the way up and clip through a wall to the left here, and it saves a ton of time. It's a really important trick in the run, and it's like a huge time save, because you see if you take the balloon in there, you can just clip right through and skip over another huge chunk of the run. In the past, there was actually 2 wall clips, and the wall clip is probably the most annoying or difficult part in the game, because I also just jumped right into a bird, by the way, in case you missed that. Sometimes if you jump into a bird, magical things happen. Yeah, but essentially there used to be 2 wall clips in the run, but I think it was Game Glitch Guy found out that you can actually take the balloon all the way up there and clip through the wall, and it makes it much better and a lot easier than having to deal with the RNG of the wall clips. And here's Quick Claw. That was a good Quick Claw. We're actually going to take a death on the water snake coming up here. We call him OP Water Snake. This is another example of taking a death that pushes you forward. you'll kind of look where I am on the right side of that water. When I respawn here, I'm actually going to be all the way over to the left after that water section. So it actually saves you like 2.5 seconds dying there versus dying somewhere else. And again, like I mentioned, you have to take death abuses throughout the run. So it's important to kind of get your lives down, but you want to take those deaths at the proper times. So, like I said, you collect a lot of items. So I already collected the diamond, I collected a key, I saved Quick Claw. What happens at the end of this game is you try to clip through this ladder. But at the end of the game, you essentially want to collect 5 different items. That was a little slow, but we made it. And once you collect the 5 items, it kind of unlocks the game's, victory screen. So once you collect the 5 items, you're actually supposed to go back to the very beginning of the game, to the very first screen you start from, and then it'll just flash the victory screen from there. And what happens, what you can do to trick the game is right after you save your niece, who's like the 5th thing you have to save, you take a game over, and what it'll do is it'll take you back to the beginning screen of the game. And what happens when you're on the title screen is it'll go to a demo, and the demo actually puts you on the very first screen. And since you already collected all the items, the game thinks that you've actually beaten it. So we're gonna see here in a second, I'm about to take a death after I save Rhonda, and I'm gonna beat the game. So I'm sure it makes tons of sense now, but Super Pitfall is a pretty amazing speedrun, and that is time. So we're gonna look here and it says game over, but we'll let this play out a bit and you'll get to see the amazing ending because like I said, it takes you back to the title screen and it's gonna play the demo in a few seconds and the game still thinks I collected all 5 items you needed. So once it goes back to the first screen, you're gonna see something magical. And it looks like SuperPitFro is finishing up now as well, so he had a pretty good comeback after the bad wall clip. And here it is, screen flashes, and congratulations, we did it. So, I mean, obviously, it's pretty amazing. I'd have to say it's definitely the best speedrun on the NES. It's probably the greatest game in the history of mankind, but, I'm not the type of person to judge those things, and I don't know that much about mankind anyway, so we'll have to let other people figure that out. But it looks like SuperPitFro's finishing up here. Might be a little bit of lag on the commentary, but looks like he got a low 6 minutes time, which is really good as well. Definitely really fun run, Super Pitfall. It's, as you saw, a lot of glitches to it. It's one of those games where it seems kind of broken, but those can often make some of the best speedruns. You kind of clip through walls, clip through ceilings off the ladders. There's definitely a lot to it, so it's always important to, to enjoy games like that and to try to figure out the tricks, because when we first started running this, the time was much higher, there was completely different strats, and when you get a lot of people running a game, a lot of people pushing a game, you're going to find new stuff, you're going to be able to push the times down, and it's a lot of fun. It's just really fun, working on games together with other people, and, pulling things off like that. But anyway, awesome Super Pitfall run. I'm going to kind of hang out here for a moment until I get the cue that we're ready to move on to the Super Metroid Project base, but thank you all obviously for watching. I mean, this is an amazing marathon. It's great that the RGL crew does all these events. I mean, it's got to be a ton of work putting on a marathon like this. You saw the preview screens between games. They have one-night-only tournaments. They have NES Cathalon. I don't even know what that is, but it's going to be pretty amazing. So definitely looking forward to the rest of this marathon. And obviously keep an eye on RGL. Definitely a great channel. A lot of really cool people on there. And a lot of great games. So alright guys, thanks a lot and take care.